Hey, BookTube. Thought I'd do a quick reading recap here. Got some more unpleasant dental work in the future, so I don't know how much talking I'll be able to do soon. Still working, as I will be for a long time, on American Prometheus, this Oppenheimer book. I'm 258 pages here, and we're still, we're up to, he's the head of, or at least the scientific head of working on the atomic bomb project, also known as the Manhattan Project. It's very interesting thinking back on the Oppenheimer film, which I saw obviously before reading any of this. There's a lot here. There's so much. I think they did a great job on the film, at least so far as I can tell. I don't envy the people who wrote the script, because I mean there's so much to break down into a film format out of here. One of the things that I found particularly interesting is the building of the town that housed so many people, the families of the scientists and everything that worked on the project. There's a lot more detail in here. It's shown in the film, but you definitely get a bit bigger, a bit better sense of how what a huge project that was. So still working on this. It's going to be a while. I only had one day in the last week to get any significant reading time, so I spent it on this. Though I did take a break from Oppenheimer for a little bit, as it's a long time to spend in someone's world here. I know 258 pages doesn't kind of sound a lot, like a lot, but I mean, you look at that font and the density of the paragraphs and such here versus another book I picked up. I'll discuss in a moment, but I mean, this is a newish release here. I mean, look at that layout versus this. I'm sure for this Oppenheimer book, they decreased the font size in order to make the page, even though it's over 600. It's over with the index. It's over 700 some pages. I'm pretty sure if it was laid out like this book, it would have tacked on a couple hundred more pages. So, one of the books I wound up picking up Original Sin, the Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson book on Biden from the library, more out of curiosity to see what they got into here. I quickly read 28 pages of this already. Like, it was like, it's not much. It's kind of fluffy in its layout. There's, at least so far what I'm picking up, a lot of what they're talking about with Biden here and his diminished capacity and stuff. I am telling you, there are paragraphs in here where they're describing just his mental capacity at certain times. You cannot tell the difference between this and Trump. I am telling you, it is like if you said who are they talking about here, if you didn't know, you could just as easily pick either one. So it's kind of disturbing that the book is mainly, at least so far, just a focus on Biden. One thing I do not care for here is there's a nasty tone about this cover up and all this of his condition. And I'm not saying that there wasn't any of that, but there is a nasty tone towards Biden here. There was like there was actually one section where it covers a lot of his hardships in life, which, you know, he has some significant losses in his life. And, you know, it really kind of, you know, you can't help but feel emotional about it. And all of a sudden, at the end, it just turns into this, like, it almost sounds like a nasty hit at him at the end, whereas there's this purposeful emotional buildup, and then it's just like, but then later, everything's falling apart, and they all covered it up, and it's just that you'd have to read it to get the better gist of it. But I'm only 29 pages in this. I'm not actually sure that I'm going to read this whole thing. I just kind of wanted to see where this book came as a surprise to me coming from. I don't know a lot about Alex Thompson, but Jake Tapper it was a little surprising for me anyway. Another book I read or partially read is sorry for just the screenshot here. I borrowed it from the library. It was a Marvel Epic collection of Avengers West Coast. This one's titled California Screaming, but it covers some early 90s issues. And I read about 150 some pages of it, and I don't remember the last time I just stopped reading a book, but I was done. It was just really stupid, like just really stupid, and bickering, and it's almost like, I guess, a precursor from what I hear like a lot of modern comics are like. Just there's a lot of bickering, and there's even what do you want to go get to eat, but then the storylines was just dumb. And then for me, first of all, the artwork was, sometimes it was good and sometimes it was really bad. At one point, I would say about the third or fourth issue in, half the artwork is done by one artist and half is done by the other. And the other, I'm sorry, I don't remember the names offhand. The one that was done by the other was really bad. It was like super sparse, poorly detailed. I don't even know how this passed on a professional level. And then as I flipped through the rest of the book, I saw there was like more and more of that, and I just lost interest. I just didn't care. There were some good ideas in the beginning that did not flesh out well, and it just kept getting dumber. And I was like, that's it. I did ask Steve Donahue. He's got his channel, popular channel here on YouTube. I did ask him what he thought of Avengers West Coast, and he said there was a good good run in there. Forgetting the writer's name offhand. Sorry, been doing a lot of work lately. Very tired. And he said that was a good run, but other than that, he agreed that it was really dumb. And yeah, I don't. It just seemed very poorly fleshed out. And there's also, for me, I guess in the 90s, there was such a weird sexualization here of the characters, particularly the women characters, which kind of felt creepy at times, to be honest. So, and one other thing I did read, and this is kind of separate, is I was watching the bonus features on this. This is the last episode of MASH, which is basically a full-length feature film. And it's a mostly strong piece of the film, and it really hits hard in spots, and it never lets you forget the cost of the human cost of the war, which I really found admirable. I think that maybe we need more of that right now. Let remind you that it's not all chest thumping and all that bullshit. There's a brutal cost to war, and even in the film on the last day, in the last moments, they're in the operating room, a very full and bloody operating room. This actually might be the bloodiest episode in the whole run, and they never really shied away from blood. But anyway, what I wound up reading in this is an unproduced script, and that one's called Hawkeye on the Double, and that just appears as a text script on your screen that you just flip through, kind of like almost like if it was on your Kindle. And I didn't think I'd enjoy reading the script as much as I did, but it was actually quite funny. I could see where it could, be an unproduced script, I could see where it could use some polish and everything, but I think it would have made a fine episode. I think they could have used that episode a bit more towards some of the later seasons where it got real iffy towards those last 2 or 3 seasons, if you ask me. But anyway, so that was something else I read in full. I enjoyed that. And finally, I don't think I mentioned this. I got a NORTON Anthology of World Masterpieces. This is a 4th edition. And it's a little worn and everything, but not bad. This was in the free library up the street. And we were about to get some really bad weather, and I'm like, that is just going to get trashed. So I picked it up. I don't really have space for too many more NORTON editions, but I mean, this has got some. You just flip through it. Everything in here is like something that you know I find it interesting wanting to read, and there's introductions and doesn't seem like a lot of commentary, but there are definitely there's a notable amount of introductions in here for I'm sorry, I was looking for the date here in the beginning. So yeah, this is a 1979 edition. Looks like initially published in 56. So you've got like a lot of the classics or excerpts from classics. I doubt these are all complete. Like Candide, Gulliver's Travels, Lord Byron, Tennyson, Madame Bovary, Tolstoy, a little bit of Shakespeare, Thomas Mann, T.S. Eliot, William Faulkner, Borges. That's cool. They got Borges. The Lottery in Babylon. That's cool. A little bit of Nabokov, Sartre, Richard Wright, Goethe, Wordsworth, Alexander Pope. So, yeah, we got a lot going on here in this volume. Not bad for free. Thanks for listening.